Hello, this is a guide on effective note taking, a how to on the types of skills you're going to need for this unit, especially, probably the rest of geometry class for this year, and in the future when you're in college, when you have a job and you're in meetings, that kind of stuff. So, how to effectively take notes. You'll be given a guided notes packet for homework every night. You should fill in the blanks when they appear in the video. You may think you know some of the blanks before they appear. That's great, but check before you write them down. It'll keep you from crossing out, scribbling out on your paper. And I'm only making a few extra copies of each of these, so check before you write it down. If you write stuff out first and it ends up being the wrong word, you're going to get mad, you're going to get upset with me. You probably have a couple profane words that you're saying because I won't give you an extra copy of it. So check before you write it down. If you hear something that you think might be important at any point during this, you should make a note in the margin. If you have a question, if you have a comment that you think I did something wrong or anything like that, make a note in the margin so that you can talk to me about it the next day in class. We'll have time for it. That's the point, that you're taking control of this so that if you see something that you think is important, ask about it, because you're probably not the only one that has that kind of question. So, there will most likely be examples in the notes. For the first one, watch and fill in everything afterwards. Okay, I will give you time. There'll be a timer that comes up. You'll know exactly how much time you have left to fill stuff in. So just pay attention the first time. You don't need to be trying to scribble things down while you're watching. So, for example, the area of a rectangle is 90 square feet. What is the base if the height is 15? Very first thing you should have is a picture for any problem like this. And then put in the information you know. We know the area is 90. The area is 90, so we're going to put that right in the middle here. Area equals 90. We don't know the base yet, but we do know the height is 15. We know the height is 15, so we'll put that on the height, h equals 15. And we don't know the base, so we're just going to leave that as b. From here, you're going to need to know the formula for the area of a rectangle. That's a equals bh, or area equals base times height. We're going to take the information from our diagram here, we're going to plug it in. So a is 90, so we're going to put a 90 in here. H is 15, so we're going to put a 15 in here. And we don't know the b yet, so it's just going to stay b. So we're going to plug everything in. And it looks something like this. 90 equals 15b. Now some of you might notice that the b switched places. It went from the front to the back here. That's okay, because multiplication is commutative. You can switch places. It does not matter. 15b or b15 end up being the same thing in the end. This is multiplication, so to get that b all by itself, we're going to use the inverse operation, which is division. So we're going to divide both sides by 15. Over here, these divide to 1, so you end up with just b on this side, equals 90 divided by 15 gives you 6, which is our answer. Now, we went through that whole thing. You should have just been watching. You did not need to write anything down, because this green box down here means that there's a timer that's going to come up. So when I click on this, it's going to start counting down from 10. 10 seconds is not going to be enough time, so pause it at some point so that you can finish writing everything down. When the timer reaches 0, we'll move on with the lesson. If there wasn't enough time, you can always rewind, look at things again, or rewind and pause so that you have another couple seconds to write stuff down. Okay? For the second example, try it on your own. Make sure you're showing all work just like we're in class. Work everything out, show all your steps, do everything exactly like you would if it was on a test. Everything will be worked out when the timer reaches 0. So you have a choice here that you're making, really. You can actually work this out and try it on your own. That's the point of what this is supposed to do. You're making an attempt to do things on your own. If you choose not to do that, I'm not going to know the difference until it comes to test time, and I'll know who exactly tried and who didn't. So Make your choice now. I'm going to click start on the timer right after I read the example. Again, it'll only be 10 seconds, so you're going to need to pause it so that you can work the stuff out on your own. Our example says, Will has a rectangular garden that has an area of 125 square feet. If he has measured the base to be 10 feet, what is the height? So I'm going to click start. The timer is going to come up for about 10 seconds. Pause it so that you can work everything out, and click play again when you are ready to go. All right, so you should have that all worked out now. If you don't, rewind it for a second, pause it, and finish your stuff up. For those of you who are done, here we go. First thing is you already have your diagram on your paper, this rectangle. Maybe Will's garden has some flowers in it, so plant some flowers. Look at how beautiful. We know again that the area is 125 square feet, so we're going to put that right in the center here. Area is 125. This time, though, we know that the base is 10 feet. Base is 10 feet, so down on the base, we're going to put b equals 10. We're looking for the height in this problem, so that's going to be our variable. Leave your h on the side here, and now we're ready to go. Same formula as last time because it is still a rectangle, so a equals base times height, and we're going to fill stuff in just like we did before. We know that the area is 125, so we put 125 in here. Our base is 10, so we put a b in here, and our h is what we're looking for. The height is our variable. Again, this is multiplication, so we want to use the inverse operation, which is, this is multiplication, so we want to divide. Dividing by 10 on both sides. 10's here will divide to 1, so you'll just have h. On the other side, 125 divided by 10 will give us 12.5. Now, that is a decimal. You are in high school. That's okay. You have a calculator. It is very easy to divide things. Okay? Even if it's a decimal, you're okay. I know some of you are thinking, how long is this video? Well, this one is probably going to be somewhere around 10 minutes, but on average, they'll be somewhere around 15 minutes. So if you need to pause and write stuff down, somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes for your homework every night is it. I'm going to do my best to keep them short and to the point. When you're watching these videos, you need to write things down that you think may be important, even if they aren't specifically in the notes. So if I say something and you think that's a really good point and it's not in here specifically, write it down. Notes are for your use to help you when you're studying, when you're doing problems on your own, all that stuff. It's not for anyone else. If you think it's important to you, write it down even if I didn't put it in here specifically. For example, in the last slide, I said how long each video was. If you remember, fantastic. But again, check your answer before you write it down. I did say somewhere around 15 minutes. That's just a quick example, something that wasn't specifically in there, but it might be something that's important to you. How long is my homework going to be every night? Somewhere around 15 minutes for the video. Okay? You will need to focus for the whole time you are watching these so that you don't miss important things. Yeah, the blanks you're filling in and the examples you're doing are important, but what I'm saying is also the important stuff. I'm giving other little tips that are in there, things to keep you on the right track when you're solving these problems. The best part is that you can pause, rewind, or replay any part that you need to. The whole point of this flipping the classroom, where you're doing the lessons at home and practicing class, is that you need to take control of your learning. If you don't understand something, watch it again. If you have a question that I don't answer in the video, that's okay. Write it down and ask me the next day in class. You all have my phone number. You can call me and ask me as long as you're not doing your homework at like 4 in the morning. But worst comes to worst, write it down. Ask me, ask someone else the next day. Get your question answered. Don't just keep it to yourself. So that is a guide on effective note-taking, a how-to. I'll see you in class.